Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, fine.
Good, thank you. Just see if there's anyone else coming and let you all settle. So you are welcome to put your cameras on. It'd be lovely to see your faces, but you don't have to. You can sit there and then enjoy some peace. And it's okay if you leave your microphones off, but if I get some background noise, I may mute you, or I may ask you to mute yourself, okay? But if you've got a nice quiet home, then you are fine. It's nice to see some of you and welcome, because for the next hour, you are going to be going into complete relaxation through painting tuition. And what I'm going to do is give you some basic technique. And even if you've painted before, then you just use this as an opportunity to completely relax and unwind for the next hour. So my name is Lisa McDonald. I was painting in the name of Lisa Weller. So you may have seen my work. I've been here in the Far North of Scotland for 12, 13, 14 years. I have no idea. I've lost count. A lot of years. So originally I'm from Sussex, and I have been painting professionally for all of that time. And now I am diversifying into well-being and coaching, as well as still doing the art and the painting tutorials. What I'm going to do today is guide you through the process of this one. Yay! So it's one of my waves. It's one of the most popular waves, and believe it or not, it probably has 3 colors in it. So it's quite basic, but it's all about the light, and it's all about the texture. So you, with your acrylics now, I need you to put into your palette. And we're going to start with the dark blue. So any dark blue that you have, if you can put that into your palette. Ultramarine is what I'm using, but honestly, any dark blue at this stage is good. Okay. The other color that I need you to put into your palette is a dark brown. I have raw umber. But any dark brown. If you don't have a brown, give me a shout and I will tell you how to mix a brown. All right, so that's dark blue, dark brown, white. We need titanium or any whites that you have. Okay, so someone's just popped out and come back in. So I'm just running through the colors that we need for this painting that we're going to do the start. I'm not sure we'll finish it in the session, but we're just going to start this painting. So you need a dark blue, a dark brown, and some white, and then a gold. These other colors that I've got in my palette are for later. If we can start another painting, I'm just going to set you off on 2 paintings today. So if you've got a gold for the wave, we need a gold, dark brown, dark blue, and a white. All right, so if you have got your camera on, just give me a thumbs up when you're ready. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will crack on. Like I said, if you need to unmute yourselves and ask me questions, tell me if I'm going too fast. Please do that. I will not be able to see your chat because my eyes are on here and I'm on my phone and not my laptop. So it's really difficult to read chat. So what we're going to do when we start with our acrylics, we need to start with our big brush. So if you have the biggest brush you have, I'm using someone else coming in. Right, so I am using the biggest wash brushes. Yep, I can see that some of you have those, which is great. Thank you very much. For the sake of someone that's just come in, we are going to just be doing this painting. I'm starting you off with this painting today, and the colors that you need to start this painting are dark brown, dark blue, and white, and gold. So it's 4 different colors today to begin that painting. Okay. All right, Lisa. Right. Give me a thumbs up if all is good and I will crack on. Thank you very much. Right. So big brush in your hand. We are going to put it into your water. Get your brush wet. All right. Dip your nice big brush to begin with. Something like this, or the biggest brush that you have, in your water. Then we're going to go, this is my mixing palette. So I have 2 palettes. I have the palette with the color in, and this here is my mixing palette. I'm just going to get that a little bit wet, because we want this first coat to glide on really softly. I'm now going into the dark brown paint, putting that into the watered down palette. And then I'm going and taking a big scoop of white and mixing that into the dark brown. And then some scoops of blue. So it's blue, brown, and white that we're mixing together. And I will show you, once I've mixed the color that I need, I will show you what color, and you can try and match it to mine. But it really doesn't matter if it's a little bit off, as long as you've got white, brown, and blue. All right. Let me just get this, and I need to mix the right amount of paint, because what we're going to do, when we're painting, we start with the background wash and we build up in layers. So that's my color. If it's a little bit brown or a little bit blue, it doesn't matter. And again, just add a little bit of water. So I'm just thinning that down. Right, I am ready. I hope you guys are ready. We're going to start by laying on this color. So I'm just going to go from left to right, this horizontal. I always forget which is horizontal and vertical. Horizontal is this way. So from the top, we're bringing that color down. The key and the trick with acrylics is that they dry in about 5 minutes. Sometimes we need to give them a little help with a hairdryer. And it means then we can build up our painting in layers. Acrylics are amazing for doing transparent layers quickly. You can do that with oils as well, but acrylics is quick drying. So that's our top layer. I'm just going to come and do the same with a little bit of sea that's underneath the rolling wave. So let's just bring the same color under, and doesn't it look really grey and dreary at this point? But believe me, as we progress, this painting will come to life. So the strip along the bottom at the same time. All right. So now leave that bit in the middle. And I'm going to pop that brush in the water pot for now. I feel that we don't need it. You will need it if we do start another painting, which I'd love to do, give you a really lovely bright sunset. But we'll see how we get on. Leave that brush in the jar. And now pick up something large-ish, but not as large. So I've got this one now, which is like a flat brush, but you could have a round brush. Just something that's just quite large still. Okay, great. Okay, for the middle bit of the wave, so I'm going back into my mixing palette, which is here, which has got that murky grey, to the side of where that colour is already. I'm now going to go with this brush, pop this brush in the water, your new brush, and I'm going to go into the water, just put a little bit of wetness on the side of my palette or another section of your palette. Go into the dark brown. Go into that watered down section and then go into the dark blue. So dark brown and dark blue mixed together, not so much white now. So let's just see what happens when we put these two together with some water. And now I'm going to water it down again. So I'm here and I'm watering that dark blue and dark brown down. And let me just show you what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is wait for that section to dry and that section to dry. But we're going to come into this middle section. So already when I'm thinking about waves, and if you know my work, you'll know that my favorite thing to paint is a wave, for all the energy that comes through. So already at this stage, I'm looking at the direction of that water and the flowing action of that water as it's coming down. So we're just thinking about that energy. That was just dark brown and dark blue. And I've loosened it up with some water. Okay, now here, I'm gonna start to think about the bottom of the wave. So I'm already thinking about texture at this point. So I'm just scrabbling the paint on, thinking about texture. So the brush stroke, I'm so sorry, I've got such an itchy nose. I cannot stop scratching my nose and I don't know if there's a piece of dust. It needs a good itch. I'm so sorry. And I'm also very hot, so I'm just going to turn my heater off. Right, let's see if that helps. Okay, so thinking about this wave, the bottom of this wave, so I'm coming over here as well from the bottom, but remember when we're painting waves, there's no straight line. So it's all about texture, movement, and even from the get-go, we are thinking about movement. So just then you can do the top of the wave over there. All right, so there's a bit of sporadic where I'm leaving gaps because we can put other colours through, but it's just planning at this point. Where else are we going to put the paint? Where else do we need this dark bit? You see how the whole canvas is not covered, there's still gaps. And this is the joy of acrylics. I work now in watercolors, oils, and acrylics. I've been working the longest with acrylics. It's like second nature how acrylics work and how to make the most of them. Right, so that's some of the wave. I've left some gaps where we're going to now bring some more colour through. So I would go back to your first mixed section where you did all that grey up above, and we're going to go back into that. And I'm going to go and just reignite it by putting some white through that middle bit that I've already created from the first section, maybe a little bit more blue. I just want to change it so that it's not that dark colour we've just been using, but a different tone to what we were just using. So here we go. I'm just mixing a little bit more white and blue into that section. With the same brush, I haven't washed the brush is the same. And now where I've got these gaps, I'm just then going to pull this paint really loosely. And the less paint you have on your brush, the better. If you feel it's thick and gloopy, take it off with a paper towel. You can take it off your brush like this. And you can even then get a paper towel onto your canvas and wipe it if it's too thick. And it's good to do that before it dries. You've still got some leeway while it's drying. So I'm just blending this lighter blue over the top. So paintings, like I said, paintings are built in layers. And you will not go, and especially waves and water, you will not get it done in one layer. And you It's all about patience, which is where the meditation comes in, where the relaxation comes in. It's all about enjoying the journey, because believe me, when you're painting, you go on journeys where you go frustrated because it's not looking the way you want it to look right from the get-go. You go through periods of, oh God, this is disgusting. Why am I even bothering with this? And your mind will play all of these tricks on you. Believe me, I've been there a lot. But it is the most rewarding thing you can do. It relaxes you and switches off the mind, and then you can express yourself. You know, this is me teaching you how to paint a wave, but you can find your own subject, your own images that you want to create. Once you have the technique, you can go anywhere, which is amazing, and I cannot rave enough about painting and the benefits of it. That's our first coat done, right? Hopefully there should be no gaps now on your canvas. Is everyone okay with that? Give me a thumbs up if you have your camera on. Great. Everyone okay, yeah? Great, okay. Right, so have a little feel of this top section. That should not be tacky, it should be dry. Is everyone's top section dry? A little bit wet still? Too wet. What I would do at this stage is go and get a hairdryer. It's a possibility if you want to do that right now, or we can put this painting to the side. Let's start another painting and we'll come back to this one, okay? What I want to do is show you how to begin a sunset. Has everyone got another canvas or another piece of paper, whatever you're working on? So let's be like a professional artist, because I have several paintings on the go at once. So let's put this one to the side while that dries, and we're going to start a beautiful sunset. And I will tell you the colours that we need. And let me just show you this picture that will be loosely based on, knowing that we probably have 15 or 20 minutes to spend on it. But I just want to show you how to begin a sunset. Can you see this one? It's a lot. It's a it's a large sunset, all right? But how would you even tackle that? So this one's based on the scenery up here around the Highlands of Scotland. How would you even begin? Right, let me tell you how to begin. So the color palette is going to change slightly. So that is where you now need your red. I would love you to get a lovely bright red in your palette. And a yellow. Again, it doesn't matter what kind of red or yellow, just a nice bright red, a nice bright yellow. And also I have a lighter blue. So my dark blue was ultramarine. My light blue is processed cyan. Anything that's lighter than the one, if you don't have another light blue, do not worry. All right, go for the same blue. And that's you, because the other colors you can use already. Tell me when you are ready. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready, and we can start getting the color onto this one. You may need a separate mixing palette, which I'm just going to reach out and get, so that your colors aren't getting muddy with the other colors that you were just using for that wave. All right. So this is my next mixing palette. It does get a bit congested, especially if you're doing two paintings at once. So how do we begin? So we begin again with our large wash brush. So you may need to wash the one that's in your pot. Give it a wash and then a dry, just to make sure you take all of that dirty paint off of it. I've actually got a new brush here, which is lovely. Just make sure you can catch up with me. Okay, so with this large brush, again, we're going into the water. Just make sure it is slightly wet. This is my mixing palette now, so I'm getting that palette wet. And I'm going to take a big scoop of white onto that mixing palette. And then what I take is like the corner of this brush, and I'm going into the light blue. So light blue and white I'm mixing together. And I'm mixing enough paint just to cover that top of that canvas. Depends how big your canvas is or your paper, whatever you're using. So I'm mixing white and light blue. And you think, wow, but I thought that sunset was really fiery colours, but it is. But what this light blue does is offset the warm with the cold, and it actually tones it down. Otherwise, it would just be really, really garish and bright. So I'm taking a little bit of water into this to loosen it, like I did with the other when we're base coating these acrylic colours. And some water again, just to loosen it. And now we're just going to go from the top. Just bring in that blue. Make sure it's really good and applied really well at the top. But as you bring it down, you can thin it out. So I haven't gone back to the palette. I'm just now allowing it to naturally thin itself out. I've got a hair. I always get hairs whenever I'm creating something. Sticking. Right, there we go. So that's the top, and then the coming down is just then really light blue. And that was it. That's my blue section done. And let me know when you're ready. And what we'll do then is we'll put some grass, we'll think about our grass colour, and then we can bring the sunsetty colours up into the blue once that's dry. So it's all about the drying time, allowing these layers to dry. Otherwise, you end up with one hot, sticky mess. So remember, it's all about relaxation. Please don't get stressed about any of this. I'm just giving you technique, enabling you to just relax. And you do not have to show anyone, but I would love to see what you do create. And so feel free to email me or send me pictures afterwards. But also know that this is really quick tuition, and you will not be able to. I do not think you'll be able to finish a painting in one session, but it will just give you some basic technique to enable you to either carry on with your paintings or just like I said, enjoy the hours relaxation for what it is. Okay, let's just see where you're at. Thank you. Are you ready to move on? Yeah, good. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm still here on this palette now. So I'm just going to go, and I put the big wash brush in the pot. And now we're just going to go for a layer of grassy, dark kind of stuff. So let's think. I'm going to put this brush in the water. Just wet your brush. Another section of the mixing palette. Let's just think about in this sunset. So down here, it's going to be like evening grass. We don't want it like bright green and brassy grass. We want quite muted. So I think I'll start with a brown, with a dark brown. Here we are, I'm mixing the dark brown. Then maybe I'm going to take a scoop of yellow. And then a scoop of the dark blue. Let's just see what happens. Like we want a muddy grassy colour. So just keep going until you get like there we go, a muddy grassy colour. So it was dark blue, brown and yellow. And then I might even, did I tell you to put gold into your palette earlier? Has everyone got kind of like a shimmery gold? I would just take a touch of that gold through there to make it shimmer from the get-go. And it lightens it up. And what the gold does is make it more transparent. So there's a little touch of gold running through there as well. So that was dark blue, brown, yellow, and a touch of gold. Okay. All right, and then remember to put water into your mix, your color, just to loosen it. And then we're going to start by, and again, when we're thinking about grass, even from the get-go, you can think about texture. So the brush stroke changes, and we can go up and down with this texture. Just minding if you're on a table, you might need some newspaper underneath because you're actually dragging that paint right to the bottom. And if the color's not mixed properly in your palette, that's okay. Like you can have all these different streaks of blue and yellow, and that actually works really well. What you'll see as you progress through the painting is this is just your first layer. You go back later and you add all of the detail, all of the different colors. But it's so good just to think about texture right from the beginning. So we're just doing it down here at the bottom, this bottom strip of grass. And we might even at this point just think about some mountains in the background. Yes, I think we will. So now I'll just let you see where you're at before I race ahead. Okay. Now you can wash that brush, or wash that brush, or if you have another one like that to hand, I've just picked up another to hand. We're going to create like a mountain ridge in the background. And I feel that this color is quite, for me, it's quite warm. When you use warm colors, they come forwards. We want something cooling to push the mountains backwards. So I'm going to go into another section of this mixing palette and make like a mountain color. So with your brush now, either give that brush a good wash or pick up something similar. So if you need to drop your brush in the water. And then over here, I'm just going to take a little bit of the dark blue. This is now a separate section of the mixing palette, dark blue. And maybe a touch of red makes a purple. And then I'm going to go for a little bit of brown in there to mute it. So a little bit of brown, red. And what I've done is picked up some of that light blue that was already there. So it means that then it's muting it with the white that is in. So what you end up with is like a lilac, a light grey lilac. So the colours that I've just used are red, blue, brown, and then I poured a little bit of that light blue into it. And this is the colour I'm looking for, is like a lilac-y grey. All right. Everyone got something like that. Yeah, that'll do. Maybe just a touch more blue, Lisa. Dark blue. Okay. Everyone okay? Who's on camera? I can see you. Yeah, good. Right, so with, again, just loosening the paint. Right, this is where I just want you to use your imagination, right? You put in your mountains, your mountain ridges. What does it look like for you today? What's your mountainous range like up here? And you can then form your peaks and bring that colour downwards to your brush. But as you come downwards, you can actually blend some of that green upwards into it. So let me just show you. So I'm just bringing the grey lilac colour down. And I've got some of that blue showing through. That's good. It's all going to bring the painting together. And then as I'm coming upwards, let's just bring some of this grass up so it blends beautifully with what we're doing at the same time as pulling the blue down. And my paint is really light and loose, translucent, because as we work through a painting, the layers get thicker as we progress. So if you've got bits of other colour coming through, it's all good. We will, I'm sorry, I'm just developing more peaks as I'm painting, and that's fine. I like it. So that's what I was looking at. It's just bring more peaks through there if you want to. And it's kind of like the background of the grassy bit is what's now peaking for me there. So let the brush do what it needs to do, right? Do not worry if it doesn't even represent mine, because what you can do is take all of your mark making and make a painting from it. Let me know when you're up to that speed. So basically, up to this point now, the whole of the canvas should be covered. I know there's now bits where we're going to put the red and yellow. We are going to come back to this painting because this one needs to dry now whilst we go back into the wave, all right? You're absolute geniuses because you're working on 2 paintings at once, which is not easy. But necessary to allow the paint to dry between layers. Prolific. That's what I'll call you, the prolific group. All right, so let me know when you're ready and we'll go back to the wave. All good? All good? Right, so I'm going to put this one to the side. Lovely and dry now. We didn't even need a hairdryer. Come back to your wave. Okay, so where do we even begin to go from here? What we're going to do now is start putting some darker tones through this wave. What brush? Let's go back to one of these large-ish brushes, not not massive, but we're now back onto one of these that you were using before. So give it a good wash, especially if it's got sunset colours on it. So make sure it's properly washed and then dried with some kitchen towel or a rag, whatever you have. Right, let's start mixing. So I'm back into this mixing palette that had the wave colours. We now really want to go into the dark. So you'll notice that we haven't got black. I may use black at a certain stage at the end, but I try not to incorporate black into any painting as I'm going, for the fact it's quite dull and it just flattens everything. But we can mix black or a dark earth color with the dark brown. So go into your dark brown. with your nice wet brush into a separate section of your palette. So dark brown and then dark blue. Mix dark brown and dark blue together. Right, so you end up with, that's the darkest color you're going to create from these colors. Make sure the paint is loose. So when I say loose, I mean put some water through it, really loosen it up with water, because what you're going to start doing now is creating transparent washes over what you've done. So what I'm doing is dragging this dark over and creating, I don't know if you can see, do you see how I'm creating lines? Like the shape of a wave, but the paint is so loose and transparent that it doesn't obliterate what we've done already. And the same way here, we're just going to create darker tones down here. So do you remember we were like scrabbling the paint? So let's just go more with that with this dark. Down in this section too. And over here, we need some dark here. There's another little peak here. So just scrabbling the paint down here, maybe just bringing some dark over onto this side. Because you would not be able to do this if this paint was still wet. That is why we need to let the layers dry and then bring the paint over the top. Okay, so I'm happy with that texture in the wave. Maybe just a little bit more of something going on over there. And then we're going to switch brushes. So now the brush that you need to go is smaller. Let me just show you what I'm using. Yeah, so this is my brush now. We're going smaller. So that's the other thing. What happens is as we progress through a painting, the paint gets thicker and the brushes get smaller. It's not tiny. I mean, it's not my smallest brush that I use, but we are definitely going smaller, and it's round, but you can use flat or round. It doesn't matter. We're going into the same color, which is that dark brown and dark blue. So here I am on my mixing palette, just taking some of that brush now. It's a little bit, the paint's quite nice and loose anyway. If you need to loosen up more, just put some more water in there. And we're going to start to create some ripples. So now we can go. And the brush stroke changes again now. So it's on the ball, on the point of the tip of the brush. And again, don't worry about, completely copying exactly where I'm putting my ripples. You just think about ripples. Try and visualize ripples in your mind and see if you can just get that onto the canvas of, like, when you get that water turning and moving. So just keep your paint nice and loose, so it should be like transparent, not just one thick line. And just have multiple ripples. So some are going to go all the way along, some might just stop short. And one of the techniques that I teach a lot when I'm doing painting tutorials is there's no uniformity. So don't think, rigid, oh, they've got to be so many centimeters apart. It's all, nature is so random So just think about that in your mark making. It doesn't have to be exact. Just allow your arm to go where it wants to go. So that's at the top, and then at the bottom too, we can think about ripples. A little mark making of this water underneath. So again, just allowing the brush to go where it wants to go. Not worrying too much. All right, so give me a thumbs up when you have done your ripples. Thank you, Katie. Thanks, Heather. So that was a small brush. I'm just going to go up brush slides slightly. You can go right back up to what you were just using before to do all of that dark washing. Yeah, we definitely need to go up slightly in brush size. In general, we go down in brush size, but when I'm teaching, I sometimes get mixed up and end up going back to sections just for like speed and the essence of getting you finished and having you get the technique. So that's what we're doing. We're just going up slightly. Here I am in the middle of my mixing palette with the first color that we even began, which is this back here is this color. We can go back into that and reignite it. So we're going to go back into this middle section if it's still a little bit wet. If not, don't worry. We're going to go. What we're doing now is going lighter. So that was all about the dark. We're going to now go back into the light. Going to go into the white. And we're just then probably going to go into the blue. So I would mix a light blue with your, even though it's a light blue, it's your dark blue and your white into the grey section that's already there. If you need to mix from scratch, go for white and dark blue. And let me just see what happens when, yeah, oh, that's a little bit too light for me. So I'm just going to go and put some more dark blue through that. Let's just see now. That's a bit better. It's still a little bit light for me. I think I went too much with the white. So I'm going back into dark blue, maybe a touch more brown in there, but it has to be lighter than what we've done already. That's better. So this is my color here in the middle. It's like more like a light blue, but not so it's like so pale. When you put it on, it just jumps out at you straight away. Okay, and again, loosening the paint, keeping it really light and translucent. We're now going to go in and around the areas that we've already done. Now we get our hands involved. So that blue goes on with the brush, but with my fingers at the same time. So I'm blending around what we've done already, pushing the paint with my finger and the brush. Everyone okay? Keeping up? Just, I think. Coming down into the bottom of that wave section. Just bringing some splashy elements through that. So just coming over the top. And again, letting the work that we've already done show through. But keeping the top section of that wave nice and curved. So as it comes down, we're splashing. But as we go up, we are curving with the shapes that we've already created. Nice translucent layer of this light blue coming over the top. Okay. Just allowing the brush to move. Fingers to push the paint if you want to. Remember, we're doing this so quickly. When you want to spend more time on this painting, go back, put more detail, use smaller brushes, go back into your light blues, all the different tones. You can bring gold through this wave. But I'm just showing you what happens when we change all of the brush strokes. So basically you started washing, you then put your ripples in with a really small brush. You're now just scumbling. This is called scumbling when you use a dry brush with a translucent layer over the top of what you've done already. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do to finish you off, how you would finish this wave after you've done all of the things I've just suggested, which is putting all of your different light blues, browns and golds through it with a really lovely small brush, something like this. That's how you would finish it. But let's just put some light because it's all about the light. So let's just bring that reflections on the top and make sure you have some light going on in this wave before we quickly go over to the other one and add a lovely sunset sky through the other. So there I am now back on a small brush. And we're just going to then go and bring those reflections through the sparkling light at the top of the painting. So you can start adding that through. That's your finishing touch, is your white. When you're doing acrylics, finishing and oils, finishing is with white. When we're doing watercolors, we start with the white and we have to always factor in that where the white is going to go. So you can go quite thick at this stage when you're in your final touches. But know that you can spend as long as you need to on your wave and getting thicker with your paint as you're progressing. But that's just starting some of that light through the back for you. All right, so if you don't want to do it now, just know that that's what you can come back to. And then the other thing you can do with the white is just come into your wave and just put some splishes and splashes of white through wherever you want that white to go. And that's another way of mark making, of dotting and dashing. You can even then flick your brush and create spray around the top of the wave. And bring all of your different colors through this as well. So that's just really quickly the technique of how to create a wave in acrylics. And yeah, like I said, just drop me your pictures later on if you want to spend more time on that one. All right, so let's go back to this other landscape and let's just give you some more technique for you then to be able to go and finish that one too. That should be nice and dry. So let's just get back into the colours. Let's just bring some lovely colours through this one. And please, like I said, don't get disheartened. At this stage, it just doesn't look like anything. If any of your paintings don't look like anything, I don't think that you can do much in an hour session. It's just to give you the basics. Yes, right. So let's go and create a lovely sunset. So the brush I'm going to use is one we've used already. Let me just put it out the pot and wash it. And it's your medium-sized brush. It's not like your large washy brushes. It's one of your medium-sized brushes. I'm just giving it a wash and a dry. So this is what I'm going back to now, but yeah, something medium-sized that you are on. Okay, so now you've got that nice brush, clean, hopefully, with maybe a little bit of water on. All good? And you're back into your other mixing palette that's away from those dirty browns. Right. Take your brush into the red. Let's just go straight into the red, but water it down. Water that red down. And we're going to go from the top of the mountain. So make sure you don't blend it downwards into the mountain, but come along your ridge line. And then scoot it upwards. As it goes upwards, thin it out. Use your hand to blend at the same time. So you haven't got just one thick line of red. You are thinning it out as it goes up. You can use a dry brush, you can use your hand, you can use a rag to push that colour upwards into the blue. All right, so just bring it upwards from the mountain. But not all, you can bring it to the top. It's your sky. You do what you want to do. If you want to bring that red all the way to the top, you do that. But what I'm seeing beneath the red is that blue shining through. So it makes it more realistic. It's not just one big thick hit of red. Just again, scumbling, just dry brushing it so that it's really nice and light. I'm going to let that dry and then maybe just then add a touch of yellow through that sky. Whilst that's drying, I'm going to show you how to do the grass, just to add some texture through that grass. So if you're happy, let me know, and then we can go into the grass, and then your red sky should just be drying slightly whilst we're in the grass. Thank you. All right, so now go into your smaller brush, the smallest brush you were using, and give that a clean. This is the one that I'm back on. We were using it for the ripples. Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah. Right, with your nice small brush, this is my mixing palette. Let's go and create a darker color that we can, again, like we did with the waves and the ripples, we're just going to go dark. So we're going into the dark. This is the green. I'm back in the green section. and I'm going to make it darker with dark brown and dark blue. So it's just making it even darker. If you need to mix it again, it would be dark brown, dark blue and yellow. Okay, and again, now thinking about texture. So you can just have fun. What does grass look like to you? Even visualize, where is your mountain? What time of year? Is it like heather, or is it just long grass? Is it mossy? And have a play. So then your brush strokes change. You're starting to build that texture with this lovely dark color. You can put a house in it. If you want to put a little bothy, you can put something here with its chimney. You could put a river running through. I love how you can just use your imagination, okay? So great if you want to use photos, but also it's lovely just to let go and relax and have no pressure about it being anywhere. Just, it could be your imagination. And just see what comes out. So there's a little bothy appeared in mine, as well as the grass. So that is how we're almost there. So that is how you build up your paintings, right? So now you can spend hours and hours with your texture, bring all the different elements of greens through here, go back into your mountains, and you can then bring some darkness through the mountain. You could put snow on your mountains. And it's up to you where your journey takes you, but then you would go smaller in your brushes with your grass, put all the different shades of grass through there. Let me just finish you off with the sky. So I'm going to just wash a brush, and I'll just show you how to bring some yellow, but yellow is really strong. Yellow is such a strong color. So I'm just going to give that brush a good wash. And then you can do this in your own time when you know that that red is dry. I'm going into really transparent yellow, and I'm just going to bring that over the top. And again, blend it with my fingers, push it into what I've done already. And it will just lift that whole background even more. All right. But just again, make sure the red is dry, because if not, you end up lifting off the paint instead of putting paint on. Then you can go into your sky, you can add some clouds, you can add some birds. It really is entirely up to you where you go with this painting now. Which actually, I'm enjoying this one, so I might actually spend some time with this as well. Okay, so that's your hour. What I want to tell you about is a course that's coming up next weekend. This is a painting course specifically with tuition like this, where I'm going to guide you into 3 live painting tutorials in an hour and a half per session. If you can't make the live dates, the first one is Saturday, the 14th of October. If you can't make the live date, you will get some recordings in your inbox. And what I wanted to do is give you guys a discount for this course that begins next week. And the code, if you want to use this code for the discount, sign up to the course, is light20. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just send you an email. So don't worry about writing anything down. I'm going to send you all an email with details of this course. And this is the discount code to get 25% off. So normally the course is £125. With that code, you'll be able to get it for £100. And what you get with this course is all of this tuition, 3 live painting tutorials. You get 6 pre-recorded tutorials that are already there for you to go and create your own paintings from the recordings. You get homework assignments, and you get feedback from the homework that you submit. And you get half an hour's free tuition with me as well, 1-to-1 free half-hour session where you can ask me any question about your own artistic journey. So that's starting next weekend. I will send you an email. And it's been amazing hanging out with you guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed this hour. Please just carry on painting and send me pictures of your work. And like I said, just do not judge yourself, because you've really had to cram like a lot in this hour. All right. So just enjoy the process. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'll see you all soon. Lots of love. Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
No worries.